there, and welcome to episode 15 of the Nova Scotia Kitchens podcast. It's a Christmas potluck party! I will be taking a little winter break after this episode, and will be returning with a post and podcast episode in March. I have some exciting visits planned for 2018, and I can't wait to share them with you. I'm Sherry Graham, and on today's show, you get to hang out at my house for one of our Christmas potlucks. Potlucks are hands down my favorite kind of gathering to host. We've been hosting them fairly often for almost a decade with a wonderful group of friends. There are many more kids in the group now than when we began, and the toddlers who ran around and hid under the table are now taller than me. Our potlucks are really informal, and we usually hold 2 or 3 each year. It's mostly families with kids who attend, so we typically host it at noon on a Sunday. People are free to come and go as they're able, and it's intended as a time for everyone to relax and catch up and just enjoy some great food and company. Potlucks are great for several reasons. Everyone gets to contribute something. It's easier on the host. There's a variety of foods for everyone. People with special dietary needs can bring something that they know they can eat. The whole nature of the thing just feels comfortable and relaxed, and it is just kind of how we roll, and I just love it. I like to host them at times of year when there aren't a whole lot of other things going on. It kind of gives people something to look forward to. We often do a midwinter potluck sometime in February. December, though, is a very busy month, but it's Christmas, so it's the perfect opportunity to get together. I feel like I have our potluck routine down pat for the most part, and I thought it might be helpful for anyone who's never hosted one, who wants to read a few nitty-gritty tips and kind of a timeline for getting ready, what you need to do ahead of time, so that the time itself with your friends is relaxing and enjoyable. And I posted a really long, detailed post about it over at novascotiakitchens.com for you. So our potlucks typically have about 35 or 40 people there, so you might not be starting out with that many people, but there's lots of information there on the post if you're interested in reading about that. So there are links to most of the things that we'll mention in the episode and that my guests chat about over at novascotiakitchens.com, as well as some pictures from our afternoon together. So enjoy, and welcome to the potluck. Come on in, make yourself at home.
We basically call it a baked lemon pudding. I do not know what the original recipe was because it came out of a book at least, I'd say about 30 years ago. My mother first made it, I think, when I was in my early teens, and then my sister started making it. And I had a hiatus of about 10 years before I remembered it and asked for the recipe and got the recipe.
It is so lemony, like it's absolutely delicious. It's like extraordinarily lemony, but sweet enough that it's not, it's perfect. It's really, really good.
It's one that I like a lot because it kind of goes all into the pan in one form. It's basically a mix of there's lemon and milk mixed in with egg, lemon, milk, and egg yolks, and then the sugar, and then a very small amount of flour goes in.
And that all goes in one slop?
That all goes in together, and then there are egg whites beaten separately until they're quite stiff.
Okay.
And the egg whites get folded in.
Oh, but as it bakes, that's when it makes the top layer?
Exactly. So it all gets folded in, and the egg whites, of course, because they're fairly stiff, they form little blobs of egg white throughout it. But it all does just go into the pan, and it looks like one uniform thing. And then as it bakes, the flour separates and forms that kind of crusty, slightly cakey layer on top, and then it almost has like it varies from sort of a lemon pudding, or almost a lemony liquid, to a lemon curd,
Yep.
and then into the lemony, cakey top.
I agree. That's really good.
Yeah, we really like
it.
it.
From you.
And it is my wife's only thing she asked for on her birthday. She doesn't ask for birthday cake.
Nice. And yeah, you could make it like fancy and put like a blob of whipped cream and a berry on top or whatever if you were wanting to be super fancy about it. But
Yes.
it's kind of perfect as is. My bowl is empty and I might lick it clean.
Hooray!
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Andrew, you're next. Tell me about your recipe. It was delicious, by the way.
Okay, so
And I want to hear about your Christmas crack after, Katie.
this is a super secret family recipe. You have to promise you're not going to put it on your podcast or share it with anybody else. Okay? Pinky swear?
Pinky swear.
All right. So, here it is. All you do is you cook a nice Christmas dinner. And then that's your base. So what you need is turkey and a bunch of leftovers. So my base is turkey and my leftovers, which is roast vegetables, carrots, turnip, and potatoes. But you can do whatever you want. So my method is you need curry paste, which you can make your own, but it's just as nice to buy it out of a jar.
What brand do you prefer? Do you have a favorite?
Tax, I guess.
That's what I have too. I like it. Yeah.
That's all that's at Sobeys.
Yep.
So you can get some Patax curry paste, and you're going to need some tamarind,
Yes.
which is something that is hard to find. So if you can't find tamarind and make your own paste, you can use tamarind sauce, which can be acquired at Sobeys or Superstore or anything like that. The actual cooking is you need 150 grams of peanuts. Roast those toast those in a large pot with oil, and then you throw in a large onion or 2 small onions. Cook those until they're clear. Then at that point you want to throw in 500 grams of peeled chopped potatoes. Spin those around until they're softened a little, but they don't need to be cooked. Then you want to throw in a couple of large heaping tablespoons of curry paste, followed by your turkey, which you can throw in that whatever generous handfuls you want. Throw in 4 bay leaves, spin them around until the aroma is really starting to come out. Then you want 2 tins of coconut milk, 2 tins of water. So fill up those tins with water, and then you're just going to simmer until it's well cooked. It can be ready in a half hour, but if you like it thicker like I do, it could take a couple of hours. Once it's done, throw in some of your roast vegetables. Throw in about a couple 100 grams of chopped snap peas.
That was one of my favorite parts, was the fresh crunch of the snap peas.
Yes, it's great.
That was
because everything else gets soft in there, right? So it does add a nice complementary texture in there. Throw it on some rice. Bob's your uncle. You got a traditional.
Cilantro, a little cilantro on top.
Yes, you can also throw some cilantro on there. But I always put that on the side because I know some people don't like it.
I know, I don't know
which
what's
is
wrong
bizarre. But that's what I do. That way you give people the option to at least enjoy it or not. No, but I pretend to be. So I promise you're not going to share that I'm actually kind of thoughtful, just like you're not going to share this super secret family recipe.
Not a chance.
Good.
Thank you. A little quieter in here, so it's easier. Sorry, drag you from your conversation.
That's all right. Did Andrew give you some good tips?
He did. And I think he swore not to share.
Oh, funny.
So yes, Katie brought what I call Christmas crack, which is like score bar with nuts kind of in the bottom and then chocolate on top. And I've already eaten 3 pieces.
It's like, it's universally in this part, I think, known as Christmas crack. And I think there's different recipes out there for like different toffee-based Christmas chocolate covered stuff, but this one I tried like many years ago, and initially the recipe was a secret, and it still might be a secret.
I know who it may have been a secret from, because I was denied.
Oh, really?
Oh, I was.
You were denied. And I just, but at the same time, I don't think, like, it's not a complicated, like, the actual technique may be a little bit tricky, but the recipe itself is very it's very uncomplicated. It's just the base recipe is a cup of brown sugar, a cup of butter, and it's got to be butter. You can add a little vanilla. If you use unsalted butter, add a few pinches of sea salt or whatever salt you have on hand, and then you cook it in a large bottom pot on the stove. I use a candy thermometer because some people can eyeball this stuff. I don't do that. Because butter's expensive. You wanna like make sure that you're getting it right. So you cook the butter, the sugar, and vanilla solution or combination until it reaches 300 on your candy thermometer, which probably, so 300 Fahrenheit, I assume. And basically it brings you to what's called a hard crack stage, so you get that really nice crispy toffee crunch. I think it would still be, I've had friends that made it and they didn't reach the hard crack stage because they tried to eyeball it, and it's soft crack stage, which means that it's chewier, and it still tastes good. It's just not easy to eat.
And you put peanuts in the bottom?
So you go to the store and I buy mixed nuts. So it's like peanuts and almonds and cashews, but I make it for my brother who's allergic to peanuts, and we just buy the salted roasted almonds. Put that on the bottom, put the hot toffee on top, it'll cool, and then top it with a layer of chocolate, melted chocolate. And you can leave it on the counter to cool, or you can, if you really can't wait, which is kind of like us, you put it in the fridge or the freezer to cool really fast. And then you just you put it on a big cookie sheet when you make it, and it just is. It goes so fast. Like, we eat it.
So good. It is so good.
I think it's because it's a combination of like
sweet and salty.
Sweet, salty, creamy, crunchy. Mm-hmm. There's melty. It's just
perfection.
Yeah, it's great.
There's a reason why it's a classic. All right. We're going to track down that. What did you bring? Deviled eggs? Do you have a special deviled eggs recipe?
Julian made the deviled eggs. I think he looked it up online. Which probably doesn't fit your podcast.
Tell me about your beautiful dessert you brought, Petra.
You know Mommy's Joe?
No pressure.
The recipe said it looked or it tasted like a giant macaroon, so I thought that would be appropriate.
And I haven't tried it yet. Does it have chocolate in all of the sections? In the filling and the layers?
Yeah, no, only chocolate in the layer, in the dark layer, and the other one is what is it called? Flour? No flour, just almonds and egg whites, and so it should be nice and dewy in the middle. Is it?
Did it turn out well? Is it good, Lily? You gonna say yes? No? She ran away. Oh, I can't wait to try it. I haven't gotten to that one yet. Thank you. And that was a little taste of one of our Christmas potlucks. I'm so glad that you could join in. A printable recipe of the spiced Christmas star bread that I made, which is pictured over at novascotiakitchens.com. Well, the recipe is there too. It was a big hit with kids and adults alike. I kind of developed that recipe the night before. And links to other recipes that were mentioned, like the lemon sponge pudding that Donald talked about, and Petra's almond torte recipe are all over at novascotiakitchens.com in that epic Christmas potluck post with all kinds of hints and tips if you want to host your own potluck. Thanks to Julian Smith for the music, and to Adam Graham for technical help and generally being awesome. And of course, thanks to you for listening. You can connect with me at the Nova Scotia Kitchens page on Facebook, or email novascotiakitchens@gmail.com. And we're also on Instagram at Nova Scotia Kitchens. Until next time, have a very happy holiday season. Take care. And I'll be back in March with a new podcast episode and post.